the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on this Monday morning. We're glad that you have joined us wherever and whenever it is that you join us each and every day and make Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. I'm Brett. That's Faith. It is good to see Faith back.
Oh my gosh. It feels like Wednesday was a lifetime ago.
And I told you, I thought we may needed to introduce ourselves to each other again. It's been a minute, but glad you had some time away and kind of get rejuvenated as we get ready for here we go. I mean, we've been waiting for this week to get here. High school football starts this week, and then next week we'll have college started. So it's kind of like Christmas for everybody in the South. You get a little bit of doldrums, kind of wait, and it feels like it's never going to get here. And then when it gets here, it just goes, it just rockets by. But we're glad it's here. And, man, we've got a busy week. I think I could just put that on repeat every time we get on here because it's going to be like that from now till December. But we wouldn't have it any other way, and we're glad everybody tunes us in. And, hey, thanks to all of you out there. Our numbers keep going up on our subscribers. We really appreciate that so very much. And then make sure you go and hit the like button. And a lot of you are doing that, by the way, which is helping us tremendously. So appreciate it so much. But welcome back. Faith, glad to have you back.
Glad to be here. Super, super excited for this week. Like you said, busy week, but high school football starts back. And then it just seems the closer and closer we get to actual college football, it's just the bigger the smiles get.
It is. And then, again, a week from this coming up Friday, we will be in Waco, Texas. So it'll be the start of the college football season for Auburn. And we're excited about that. And just kind of remind everybody we're going to have our post-game reaction show after the game. Just hang in there with us. We're going to go, obviously, be in the media room after the game. And then as soon as we get out of there, you and I are going to go find somewhere in Waco. I don't know where we're going to go. Maybe a bar or something. We're going to find somewhere that we can do the post-game show, and hopefully it's a jubilant post-game show. Hopefully it's after a big Auburn win. That's what we're all hoping for. But, yeah, we're excited about it, and it's going to be a really, really good football game, I think, just based on what we're hearing out of the Baylor camp and obviously things that we're seeing and reporting on every day with the Auburn camp. But that's what we're going to talk about here to get things started. I know you've been out of pocket, but you've been keeping up with everything. You and I have been talking throughout the time that you've been away and kind of filling you in. I know you've kind of found some things out too while you've been gone. So we're going to dive in. We had a scrimmage. They had a scrimmage. We didn't have a scrimmage. They had a scrimmage on Friday. And again, it was one of those situations I told you on Thursday. There were several guys in the receiving corps that were out. Cam Coleman had a yellow jersey on. And then Eric Singleton had bumped knees with somebody earlier in the week, and he didn't participate. So we knew. And then, Perry Thompson had a knee brace on. Malcolm Simmons kind of a little bit gimpy. But for the most part, nothing serious. Again, if Eric Singleton had to play, if it had been a game, he could have played. But again, just trying to be precautionary and trying to get to the first game as healthy as possible. But coming out of that, we didn't get to see anything in the team part of Thursday's practice. It did kind of have a little bit of a weird vibe, to be honest. It just didn't, things didn't seem to be clicking on all cylinders. And when you got guys out, that happens a lot. But it also can be a positive because you get to put some other guys in some places to see what they're doing. But all in all, I think, we were able to talk to Coach Freeze after practice, and he kind of alluded to, hey, we're not happy where we are, obviously, with the offense. But he said, I'm never happy. It doesn't matter what point in time of the year it is. But the theme continues out of the second scrimmage that the defense continues to rule the day, Faith. And I don't think anybody's surprised. But some positive signs on the offense. And that's what you wanted to see from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2, that, hey, some things got better, and they did get better.
you at least want to hear that they can keep up with the defense. And
Yes.
hearing that they were able to at least just be either trailing right behind them or being neck and neck, that's the best thing you can hear from last scrimmage to this past Friday. Because after last Friday, and honestly, even after Thursday and how much of a, I don't want to say blowout, but just a little bit of some anger and upset people at practice, you are glad to hear that there was some climbing of the stairs. And
Yes.
it's hard to, that's one day too, that from that Thursday practice to the scrimmage, that's one day that, maybe those choice words and everything, that really made an impact because they looked a little bit better Friday.
They did. What did that look like? Some big plays. I know we didn't see any of that in the first scrimmage. Got to see some big plays. And again, I watched Cam Coleman. I don't want Ryan had a yellow jersey on Thursday because, man, he looked perfectly fine. And Coach Freeze said he had maybe tweaked an ankle a little bit, but he didn't show it at all. But a couple of big plays with Cam Coleman. Brandon Frazier also had a big catch. And then, I think we haven't heard a lot out of tight ends. It's been a position that, we've all been kind of quietly talking amongst ourselves about going, when are we going to see that incorporated? How big of an impact is that going to be on this offense? And, it's good to hear the word tight end and big play come out of the scrimmage. And so that was huge. It was good to see that Brandon Frazier, and I posted a video on Thursday of Brandon Frazier catching a really good pass from Deuce Knight in the corner of the end zone. Really good coverage by the defense, but Brandon Frazier was able to go up and get his feet in the back corner of the end zone. So look, I mean, if you've got a weapon at tight end, it only helps your offense all the way around.
Yeah, I completely agree. No turnovers, probably
Big time positive.
Probably music to my ears for the past 3 years now, hearing that. Let's hope we can continue that into the actual games because that's the most important part of it. But no turnovers in a scrimmage against this defense. It's a better sign than what we've had.
Yeah. I want to go back to the offensive line had a mix today. Is that possible? They had a mix today. Better in the run game, which I'm not worried about our passing game. I'm really not, but I had started to become a little concerned about what we were getting out of our running game. And it's going to be a running back by committee. I think we all know that and feel that way. But was it the offensive line that wasn't doing the things they needed to do? Was the defense that much better? What was the difference? Well, we wanted to see some improvement from the first scrimmage. The second, we did. There were some pretty good runs by pretty much the entire running back room. And they're, basically not letting plays play all the way out. So those runs could have been probably bigger from what we were told and what we heard. But again, just looking at that was kind of a relief for me is the word I'm looking for, because we had not heard much out of our running game. And what you and I've seen in practice, to be honest, outside of individual drills, we've seen a couple of team opportunities, and man, the running game, I'm just being honest, was non-existent. It just was.
Yeah, definitely having the past two running backs. I mean, honestly, Auburn has been RBU for the longest time, but this, I think, is the first year in a long time that Auburn has had an undecided starting running back in quite some time.
Right.
And it's good to hear that Jeremiah Cobb has after his finger injury or whatever, is getting brought back up more and more because, he's healthy now, and hopefully he's making those big impacts. And even seeing him in the off season and how big and thick he got, just muscular.
Right. You know, this name. I mean, Omar Matson keeps coming up, and this is not a fluke. This is not a flash in the pan. And the more we see and the more we hear out of scrimmages where we're not there, I mean, it's almost unthinkable not that he's not going to be on the field in a rotation situation. I know he's a true freshman. He should still be in high school at Auburn High School, but this guy is continuing to do good things in practice and in these scrimmages. And I'm telling you, people can say what they want to say. When you continue to get that kind of buzz and that hype, and he's forcing people to talk about him. And when you do that, you start going, okay, he's getting it done. Let's see what happens in game prep week when we get to the week of the Baylor game and what kind of carries he gets and what it looks like in the mix, because Auburn's trying to get down to what it's going to look like 1v1 as we get ready to go into game week next week. So I think with everything that we're hearing and seeing, I would be surprised at this point if we didn't see a little Omar Matson against Baylor. I'm just going to be honest.
I think so too. It's interesting that we have this comparison between, and I'm going in a different direction here than what we've been talking about, so we can get back to it here in a second. But with Baylor and their running game right now, and how they're having to have their true freshman possibly pop in after Pendergrass's injury. I mean, you see that there's probably going to be maybe two of those freshman running backs in at some point. And again, it's not surprising.
No, it's not. I mean, again, this is not just, Omar Matson's doing well in practice, but he didn't have a chance. Like, he's got a chance. Like, that's legit. He looks the part. He's, Darrell Robinson, the video I posted on our Instagram page on Thursday, you can hear him talk about how impressed he is with him as a freshman and how he's not scared of the moment. He's nothing but high praise from his teammates, which is really, really good. Another part of the running game that we were able to see, or people were able to see and report on, that we haven't seen to this point were the quarterback runs. And we all know that, again, and Coach Freeze kind of talked about that, when you're not going live and you're blowing plays dead, when things break down, if you're an RPO-style offense, you don't get to see what that quarterback's going to be able to do. And we all know that Jackson Arnold, a major part of who he is as a quarterback is his ability to make plays with his legs. I mean, he single-handedly beat Alabama last year. Basically, his passing numbers were not very good, but the running game for Oklahoma, and he had a lot to do with that, was extremely good. And I think the passing will come, especially in the RPO. And we've heard Ken Austin and Coach Freeze say that they like what he's doing in the RPO, check downs and the things that he's doing in the offense. The problem with Jackson Arnold right now that you and I've seen and everybody's talking about is when he has to drop back to pass, he is struggling turning the ball loose and pulling the trigger and, getting, the plays blown dead. We saw Coach Freeze we all saw that video of him getting pissed and throwing his visor. He didn't do that on the first play. That was like the third time Jackson had held the ball and a play had been blown dead because of his inability to whatever, even if it was coverage or to do something, he held the ball and it would have been a sack. And so after the third time, and you go back and look at the video, when Cam Coleman cut in and then cut back out's when Jackson should have released the ball, and he didn't do it. And the play, by then the window had closed, and more likely in a real game, he's either scrambling or he's sacked at that point. So that's what they've been saying for a couple of weeks now with Jackson Arnold, and everybody's a little antsy. I've had people text me all weekend about, what's the deal, man? Like, is this what you're seeing? And I'm having to be honest and say right now, yes. I mean, he's still the confidence level probably is not where it needs to be for him. And I think he's afraid of making a mistake. I mean, he's just not making plays that way. And so whether that's positive, negative, or indifferent, that he's got to snap out of that. He's got to get more confident, and he's got to turn the ball loose. Now, you don't want him just gunslinging and throwing picks and all that kind of stuff, but there were some windows there, and Coach Freeze alluded to it after practice Thursday. When you do dial up a play and it's there, you got to make the play. And that's what I think he was more frustrated about than anything.
When I saw that video and watching it and the way that we've seen these things actually play out in real time, I think I said last week that you got to learn your receivers, and it takes some time, and it takes time to gain your confidence when you're at a new team at this point. But with the season being a week away from this upcoming Friday, you can't be gaining your confidence in that Baylor game.
That's not the time to gain. You got to go into the game
with the confidence.
And I know Jake Thornton talked about it a little bit about the offensive line, and Coach Freeze did too. And in the question I asked him on Thursday, I asked him what he thought about the offense and where it is at this point in camp. And he said, it was about a 3-minute answer, but he said, DJ Durkin's putting in a lot of different blitz looks and things. And, we're not really game planning for a particular team right now. And Jake Thornton said the same thing. He said, we're getting a lot of different things thrown at us each and every day at practice that Coach Durkin's throwing in to get his guys to work on that we haven't seen, and it's like Coach Freeze said, I think he's to use the number. He said, he's like, we don't get 13 new things thrown at us the week of a game. Defenses do certain things, and they may throw 1 or 2 different wrinkles in, but they're not going to throw that many wrinkles to get ready for. So it is different when you're game planning, and I think that's what we talked about last week, Faith, is you can't really get over anxious and overreact about what you hear in a camp, because you're trying to work on all types of different things, and you're trying to expose your weaknesses in camp so you can identify what you've got to work on. And when information comes out, when we release things, other people release things, they take it for surface level and they get a little bit antsy, and rightfully so, because around here we haven't been very good in the last 4 years, and we've struggled at quarterback. So when we hear, Jackson Arnold's not turning loose of the ball, offensive line maybe not doing quite as well, people start going, here we go again, same song and dance. But I'm telling everybody, it's not like that. Our offensive line, I think, is going to be perfectly fine. And it's just a different look. You've said it. I've said it. Jason said it. It's just a whole different vibe there. But you also got to add in that they're going against a very elite defensive line. And again, Keldrick Falk and, several of these guys, I can keep talking, Kieran Crawford, all these guys are dominating, and that's great, because that's what they're going to do when they line up against somebody else.
Well, just what you said before was exactly where everybody's headspace has been at, of this is the same pattern that we've seen. And that's natural to think, is that it's happened for 2 years in a row. What else are we supposed to think that's going to happen? It's happened the same past 2 years. It is a different team. It is a different team when you look at it in the bigger picture, I think, between what we've seen, and a lot of the guys are the same people on the team as they were last year. But with the director being Jackson Arnold in this situation, it does look like a different team. And we can't just keep having, Auburn fans cannot keep having the mindset
it's PTSD.
Yeah.
It's PTSD.
Of, this is just going to keep happening.
Yes.
We will be exposed on whether or not it's the coaching or the players. I think in the first quarter of the Baylor
game. So. I agree. We're going to learn a lot more, obviously, when you get to the game. And and of course, we'll talk more about Baylor as we get closer. We've already been talking about them, but we'll talk more about that. We're going to talk about defense here. But first, let's talk about some of our partners before we dive into the defensive side of the ball from this past Friday. Sensagreen.
Sensagreen, for air that's cool and clean, call on Sensagreen. They are the carrier experts in the state of Alabama, proud supporter of Auburn athletics and a proud supporter of the Auburn Blitz podcast. It's hot. You've got to have a reliable air conditioning unit, and a carrier unit is going to be the one. And Sensagreen will save you thousands of dollars on the installation process of a carrier unit.
Scout Program Management is a full-service construction management program company that takes you from the pre-construction phase to the finished product. They work on multi-million-dollar projects. They come in and make sure that things are done correctly, and they hold contractors accountable. When you're spending millions of dollars, whether you're a municipality or an educational institution, whatever it is, you want to make sure when you're spending that kind of money, these are like once-in-a-lifetime projects that they head up. You want to make sure it's done right. So call on Scout Program Management. If you're not doing that, you are going to wish you had. I'll put it that way. I've watched them work. They're great. So if you got a project like that coming up, you need to go ahead and call Scout Program Management, located in Birmingham, Alabama.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn. I cannot express how much we love Bunkers and how much I love their steak sliders. Bunkers has 27 different sports on the golf simulator bays. They are some of the most fun but difficult and challenging courses on the actual golf one.
The golf will humble you. I'm just telling you.
It doesn't matter what kind of golfer you think you are. That is going to be the real test. And Bunkers, they've got great happy hour deals, great specials, and just a bunch of fun things that they have all the time throughout the week. So go hit up Bunkers in downtown Auburn.
Yep. Don't wait. Just do it. And again, why not play golf in air conditioning instead of 95 degrees and 100% humidity? So it's a lot more comfortable in there, I promise you. All right, the defensive side of the ball. I mean, you start with guys up front, Amaris Williams, obviously Keldrick Falk, Kieran Crawford, Malik Blockton. I can just keep going down the list. These guys are wreaking havoc, and they're really in pass protection, causing a lot of disruption. And so that's one thing that we said earlier, that the offense had a kind of a mixed day. Our offensive line had a mixed day. They did better in the run game, which I was glad to see, but maybe struggled a little bit more in the passing game. And it's because Auburn's got elite pass rushers. Let's be honest about Kieran Crawford, Keldrick Falk, Amaris Williams, those guys are, they're all just, again, like the Energizer Bunny. I don't know how else to explain it. They just, you would think out there they would get tired and worn out. They don't. I watched them in individual drills, and also Malik Autry in individual drills the other day, and just very impressed with how big these guys are. Chris Murray, very impressed. I've been impressed with him. It's going to be hard to keep him off the field. That guy had a great camp, in my opinion. And y'all can just keep going down the line. Jordan Crawford. In individual drills the other day, I thought maybe looked as good as anybody. I really did. He is so – when he runs a drill, it's like what you want it to be. Like, you video that guy and you show it to other people and go, you want to see how to run this drill? This is how you run this drill. And he's a freshman. And so he's low to the ground. He's not very tall, but he's huge as far as his mass and strength. But he's very athletic when he's running these drills. So, look, our offensive line, I think, is going to be fine. They're going against as good as they'll probably see this year, in my opinion. Now, I know that's a stretch because you got some young guys, but you're not going to see a better defensive end than you are at Keldrick Falk. Kieran Crawford has made it known that he is going to be a force to be dealt with this year. So that's what, Mason Murphy and Xavier Chaplin and all these guys are having to go against on the edges. So iron sharpens iron, or according to somebody that watched the other day, steel sharpening steel, which I'd never heard that one before. And obviously multiple people commented and had never heard that either, but we'll just go with what everybody wants to say. But really, I'll stick with iron sharpening iron. And that's kind of what's going on here. You're making each side of the ball better.
The word I would use to describe the defense is hungry. Every single position, it doesn't matter as deep as it gets, they are so hungry to make something happen. And it's known and you can see it. And like you said, that's why the offensive line might be struggling. And the same thing with Jackson Arnold, maybe when it comes to him and his confidence levels. To me, that should boost your confidence levels if you're making plays happen against this kind of defense. So go ahead
Right.
and you shouldn't be worried about going and failing because of the competition you're up against.
Right.
Go ahead and just sell it or try the best you can. See if you are the guy for the job, because this defense is so hungry to make something happen. And like you just said, you're going to see some of these guys that are younger, but they're going to come in because
depth.
They want to be always ready in attack.
With what we see in the secondary and what we're seeing in the defensive front and the group at linebacker, I mean, we keep hearing Bryce D's name. How jacked is that guy to be as young as he is? And, some of these Elijah Melendez, I know I keep going down the list, and Robert Woodyard obviously getting a starting job there in the middle. But, this defense is going to play a lot of people. And that's a huge positive for our football team with the depth that you feel confident enough to run as many guys out there as you are going to see Auburn run out on defense. DJ Durkin kind of has alluded to that. Got really, really good depth up front. And even though when we go back, and I know we've said this probably several times, but when we were ranking position groups, we had linebackers down at the bottom. It was because of the unprovenness of that group in that room, not because they lack talent. And I can't remember who said it the other day, but one of the coaches said that we really have some guys now that can get downhill and are thumpers at linebacker, very athletic. And, Bryce Dees is one of those guys. Xavier Atkins is one of those guys. Elijah Melendez is one of those guys. Obviously, we know what DeMarcus Riddick can do. All of a sudden now, Faith, this linebacking room isn't looking like a group that should be ranked toward the bottom when you look at position groups. But again, they've got to get on the field and prove it. So we'll see. But I have a feeling when we get toward the end of the year and we did our re-rank, if we go back and re-rank position groups, they're going to be a group that's going to go up the ladder pretty significantly, I think.
I don't think there's a question about that. The way that they've proven themselves in practice and in some of these scrimmages, I'm just excited. I don't know how many times I can say it, but I'm so excited to watch that pan out in game time.
No doubt. Again, I bring up Xavier Atkins, Elijah Melendez, Bryce Dees, Caleb Wheatland, the transfer. I can keep going down the list. And again, now all of a sudden you got some depth pieces there that you don't feel like you drop off if DeMarcus Riddick needs a breather or if Robert Woodyard comes out. You don't feel like you're losing anything. So that's a really, really good deal there. Chris Murray, he's right there on Kieron Crawford's heels. He has moved his way up the depth chart. And, you and I saw that firsthand a couple of weeks ago. He was making play after play in team drills. And, I was like, is that 3 again? I kept asking you, and you're like, yep. I said, there he is. And then Melendez was doing the same at linebacker. So, and they were getting some mix in there with ones. So they look, and then we talked to Jay Hardy after practice the other day. His second time around at Auburn. Excited. He's playing his best football right now. I've already talked about Jordan Crawford. I did mention Malik Autry earlier, but Dallas Walker is making plays. We got some guys, man. I'm not worried about our depth. I'm not. Coming out of spring, you and I both were a little concerned about the depth of the defensive line. I'm not anymore. I'm just going to be honest. But since then, we've gone out and got some guys, James Ash and some other guys out of the portal to kind of add depth to this. And, James Ash is another one of those guys that we've been talking about. But I think James Ash is down the line right now. I think, if he's at that nose tackle position, obviously Bobby Jamison Travis is going to start, but I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't see Jordan Crawford be the number 2 guy. That's just me now. Again, we haven't seen an official depth chart at all. And I know that coaches don't like to throw depth charts out there. But if who's going to be the guy to come in and spill Bobby Jamison Travis? Right now, if I had to throw some money out there, I'd roll the dice on the freshman. And some people may go, well, he's crazy. And I may be, and I probably am. But I feel like Jordan Crawford's going to play a pretty good bit. That's my opinion.
I think you nailed it on that one. I mean, we heard what Bodney said about him in high school, the way he looked, and then the way he looks now.
He does look different. And
the big difference there. And you said he was one of the best.
He's the best high school defensive lineman I've ever seen. And again, I'm not saying that because he's at Auburn. I'm telling before he committed anywhere, you can go back and pull tape of me in broadcasts going, probably the best defensive lineman in high school. Now, that doesn't necessarily always translate to college. But in high school, when he was double teamed, he continued to shed people like mosquitoes. He swatted people out of the way. And I told everybody Friday on the podcast, Faith, there's defensive linemen that are strong and can kind of bull rush people and get them out of the way. What's impressive about him is when he got in the backfield against skill guys, whether it be a quarterback, a running back, or a wide receiver, like on a speed sweep or something, his ability to break them down in space and make the tackle. I was like, is this 300 and something pound guy really moving this well and making plays on skill position guys? And he does. So that's what's impressive about him is he's got deceptive speed for his size. So no, I don't think I'm going out on a limb and say that Jordan Crawford is going to be a major depth piece here on the defensive line. And I'm glad we got him. He's a stud.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and we ain't even talked about the secondary because we talk about them all the time. I mean, some notes coming out, maybe Eric Winters moving up the depth chart a little bit at safety.
Yeah.
Starting to get a little bit more buzz out of him.
Less out of New Boy.
Do what now?
I said less out of New Boy.
Yeah. But again, it's kind of that everybody pushing everybody situation.
Again, it's the word hungry.
Right.
They're all hungry to go and beat each other out.
Absolutely. You got a bunch of guys back there. Jacoby Matthews is a transfer that everybody's high on. We'll see kind of where he falls in the mix. Obviously, we've talked about Rayon Strader till we're blue in the face the last couple of weeks. Champ Anthony's going to be back at the nickel position. Sylvester Smith's back at the nickel position. I don't know that you got two better corners anywhere than Kay and Lee and Jay Crawford. And Jay Crawford may be the best player on the whole team, and that's including Keldrick Fall. Yes, I said it. Everybody go ahead and write that down. Jay Crawford is as good or better than anybody we have on that roster. And I know that's high praise, but that's how good he is at his position. Yes. He is a thumper at cornerback. He's a great cover guy. He's not afraid to go in there and mix it up. Cornerbacks sometimes get the the reputation of being prima donna-ish a little bit. Oh, I like to go out here and cover my guy, and I ain't real keen on coming up and making tackles. Well, that ain't Jay Crawford. If you running the ball at him, he's gonna try to knock your teeth out. So you got him, and then of course at safety, at strong safety, you got Caleb Harris, who's back. And Caleb Harris has a chip on his shoulder. I saw an Instagram post he made. He's like, look, I ain't on anybody's preseason watch list, but I'm about to show some people.
Again,
and I love that mentality.
It's the confidence from the defense that needs to translate in other positions. But Caleb Harris is a sophomore.
Yes.
These guys, and same with Jordan Crawford. Kane Lee, he's a junior. But
Jay Crawford, not Jordan Crawford.
Oh, sorry, Jay.
No. We got a bunch of Crawfords. It's okay.
We do. But these guys are so young, and you're seeing how well they've just developed from last year to this year, and the talent that they're just showing. They're proving everybody that they are the guys that need to be watched. And you saying Jay Crawford is the best guy on the team, I will be just as close to back you up as anybody else will be. You know, Keldrick, I think we might have two neck and neck right there.
I mean, obviously, Keldrick Falk's the highest draft pick guy we got.
Right.
You know, he's a guy that it's a no-brainer. There's no question. And I'm not
their different positions, their ages.
Right. I'm just saying from a all-around standpoint, athletically, football IQ-wise, everything, there's nobody better than Jay Crawford on this football team. They're just not.
He's somebody that you can trust to go out there when you think he's 100% gassed, and he's still going to make something happen.
Right.
That's just the kind of kid he is. And we've seen that all throughout spring, summer, fall now, and he's going to be showing a lot of people.
Absolutely. So defensively, again, if you're going to say who won it, I think defense obviously comes away with that, but offense did improve. Now they had some big plays, and are they there yet? No, but they did make. I would definitely say they made some improvement, and in the running game, probably mainly the biggest part of that. We saw some improvement there, so that's huge because we got to run the football. You got to be able to run the football. We know our receivers are great, and yes, quarterback Jackson Arnold, Deuce Knight, whoever has got to get them the football, and you got to be able to deliver it like instead of throwing the ball high, putting it where it needs to be, throwing it to guys out of the backfield on the run where they can catch it on the run and not jump up and have to spin around. Very, very efficient and putting people in positions where they can get out there and make plays. Timing's everything. So, yeah, all that you're still working on. And hopefully they'll continue to fine-tune that. All right, let's talk about a couple more of our partners here on the program. And, man, they are underway here at my house. Old Number One Customs is in my house destroying my bathroom as we speak. And looking forward to seeing what the finished product's going to be. We're a few weeks out from that, but give them a call if you're looking for a master bath rebuild or renovation, master bedroom, kitchen, outdoor living space. They'll come do it for you. 334-752-6162. And yes, you'll be seeing some pictures and video as we have that project going on.
JFA Blue Plumbing, for that big old bathtub, you might as well go ahead and have that Home Atlas water filter duo installed. It's only $15.99. You can't put a price on health. And if you want filtered water throughout every single faucet in your entire house, that is going to be what you need installed, because it's going to make sure you've got filtered water. Everything is going to be safe and purified. You're not going to have any of those nasty lines or any of that pink hard water signs in your house, because that's gross and disgusting. So call on them at 844-JFA Blue. Absolutely.
Call on JFA Blue Plumbing, and everybody can remember that number. And
Oliver Ross.
Absolutely. And Oliver Ross.
They will be able to take care of your parties from 20 all the way up to 20,000 people. And what they've been taking care of a party that just either has or had 30,000 people in attendance. So Oliver Ross seriously is going to be able to take care of whether it's your tailgate parties, weddings, sorority, fraternity, any sort of event like that. They're going to be able to take care of you and your guest while you can focus on the entertainment. They're going to come in there. They'll be able to set all of their stuff up and then break it all down when the event's over and get out of there like they were never even there. They're going to make sure your guests and you have a great time and stick with the professionals.
And that they are definitely professionals, and you need to call on them for your next party or engagement. I tell you, they're just the best in the business. Okay, let's shift over and talk about a potential huge recruit committing. And we said this a couple weeks ago, and we start to build a little bit more momentum. The 5-star safety out of Mississippi, Braylon Womack, going to be committing on Thursday, August the 21st. And Auburn just picking up a huge wide receiver commitment last week. We knew that this was a potential 1-2 punch for Auburn that could really jump them up the recruiting rankings. But Braylon Womack, I'm going to say, is a must-get for Auburn. They need to get him. It's been like a 2-horse race between Auburn and Ohio State. Ohio State's already got 2 safety commits. So I think that has something to do with it, but I also think that Braylon Womack feels really good about Auburn. Of course, he's got family at Auburn. He's visited a bunch. He's got a good relationship with the coaches there. There's a lot of positives there for Auburn, but guess who's creeping into the mix as we hear? Florida may be creeping in as a challenger for his services. So, and again, this has been a common theme everywhere we've gone, and every recruit we hear about, it seems like Florida or Texas A&M, they pop up.
They're everywhere.
They pop up. So, but I feel like Auburn's in good shape for Braylon Womack. Now, again, anything can change. And if he does commit, which is great, I mean, it's a long time till December before you can put ink to paper. So we'll see kind of how it all plays out. But this would be another huge commitment for Auburn after what we've had to endure in the summer, as all this August 1st junk, and why are we not doing other things or things that other schools are doing? Now you're going to really gain some momentum if you're able to add Braylon Womack to your class here.
What do you think you would add to the safety room that we have currently?
Oh man, I mean, it's already. I mean, this safety room is legit. It's crazy how good it is, but I mean, you're getting the number 1 safety in the country. I mean, you just continue to just land one top secondary guy after another, and so I don't think anybody is concerned about what Auburn's been doing in the defensive secondary as far as recruiting. I mean, they've been on a heater, and when you look at what Auburn's producing right now at safety and at cornerback, if you're one of those positions right now in high school, I mean, Auburn's definitely at the top of your list. I mean, they've got one of the better potential secondaries in the country.
Yeah, the way that we just went through those positions and how young some of these guys are, the way that they're working up, and you're going to be able to see some of them this year.
Yes.
It should be a boost of confidence for him to think, okay, Auburn's going to be able to develop me. They're going to be able to give me some playing time. I'm not going to be able to just go there and have to wait for a long time and transfer out like a bunch of kids do these days.
Right.
And again, it'll boost the ranking of just this recruiting class that we've had such a negative airiness about it. Yeah.
It's been torturous. Let's just be honest about it. It's been hard to endure. And Auburn's got 12 commits right now. The last few have been really good ones. Jace Matthews, Jaquez Wilkes, Wilson Zaire. Those guys. And again, if you go in and get Braylon Womack, he is the highest recruit, and he's a 5-star. Auburn's currently ranked 54th in 24/7. So how much do they jump up? I think Auburn jumps up maybe in the 30s with an addition of Braylon Womack. That's how big of a boost that will be, him being a 5-star. And that would give Auburn 13 commits, and you're probably looking at trying to get 7 more guys in this class, get around that 20 number. And then who knows? But a lot better than in the 70s. I'll put it that way. It'll look a lot better than being ranked in the 70s. And right now, Auburn still in the SEC is, according to 24/7's, the 14th team. I mean, they're only ahead of let me pull it up. I don't even have it in front of me, but they're only ahead of a couple other teams, Mississippi State, I think, and possibly
Mississippi State.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely. Surely you're ahead of Mississippi State. Let me pull it up real quick. They're ahead of Kentucky and Missouri. No, Mississippi State's ahead of Auburn. They've got 28 commitments, though.
Oh, so, what, 3 stars? Like 4 stars?
They've got 28 3-stars. So just by sheer volume. Vanderbilt's got 17 3-stars and a 4-star. Auburn's got 6 4-stars, 6 3-stars. They'll add a 5-star here in Braylon Womack if he commits on the 21st. So I think Auburn jumps up maybe up to 11th or 10th, bumping ahead of Ole Miss and Arkansas. So they'll be knocking on the top 10 in the SEC. And then, of course, I think they'll move on up and get some other guys, especially if Auburn has a good season. So, I mean, again, not all bad. And then you got the portal out there. So we'll just have to wait and see kind of how all that plays out. But that's a big one to watch. Obviously, we're going to be keeping our eyes on that one coming up. That's a big announcement coming up on Thursday, the 21st.
Yeah, that's not that long away. And
my date is right on that, right? Thursday.
It is the 21st.
Yep, Thursday is the 21st. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know if that was a Wednesday or not.
Yeah, I just had to double check, make sure everything just kind of bleeds together at this point.
It really does.
But okay, that's going to wrap us up here on this Monday morning. And we're, as you're watching this, on the road, headed to film our first edition of On the Road with HSA. So for the football season, as they get ready for the kickoff classic games in Montgomery on Thursday and Friday. So there'll be high school football on Thursday, everybody. So exciting times. Football is back. We're ready for it, and we're here for it for you guys. So, again, if you've made a bunch of comments today, sorry we haven't interacted with you. We had to film this last night. So, but we appreciate all of you going out there and subscribing to our channel. If you haven't done that, please go do it. We would appreciate that so much, and make sure you hit the like button as well. Faith, good to have you back. Now it's time to go to work. All your vacation's been exhausted and it's over. So now you just will be exhausted. How about that?
Yep. Hey, you know what? I'm glad I had the time I did. And, right before the craziness really starts, got to have a little bit of downtime, got some sun, and now it's back to
you get a little vitamin C there, right?
Yes.
That is right. Isn't that what you
I think it's vitamin D.
Vitamin D. Okay, I was 1 letter off. So
yeah, whatever. But
vitamin D. Yep. We'll take whatever vitamins we need. We're probably gonna need vitamin supplements as we.
I will have all of mine packed. So
there you go. There you go. All right, everybody. Appreciate you so much. Faith, send us out.
I hope everybody has the best day and the best week ever.
Absolutely, and a big old
War Eagle.